Since launching its new Defender wagon in 2020, Land Rover's other 7-seat wagon, the Discovery, has been left a little bit behind, but they haven't let it stagnate. Significantly, it's got the new Ingenium 6-cylinder engines in it, both in diesel and petrol, and it's got a refresh inside with some new tech and bigger screens. We've got the P360 petrol engine Discovery with us here, and we're going to back it with the diesel engine D300. Land Rover's Discovery 5 presented an all-new and wholly different approach to the brand's big 3-row wagon when it arrived in 2017. Gone was the boxy design of the Discovery 3 and 4 models, replaced by a swoopy, more generic SUV shape that relies on a monocoque aluminium platform which it shares with the more expensive Range Rover models. While not as distinctive as its predecessor, the Discovery 5 was designed to appeal to a wider audience. Both these cars are the more affordable Discovery S variants, which for the P360 petrol vehicle starts at $107,175, while the D300 diesel starts at $101,875. Each of the cars is fitted with a range of factory accessories, bringing the prices up to an as-tested $127,289 and $110,910 respectively. You might notice the more sporting look of the P360 petrol engine car because it's equipped with the R Dynamic Pack. It gives it a slightly lower front bumper, different grille design and some highlighted badging. The bright orange paintwork doesn't hurt either. All Discovery 5s come with 4-wheel drive and electronic air suspension. That air suspension is also another hot ticket for off-roading as it gives you the ground clearance you need to get over obstacles. Also now they're all fitted with 20-inch wheels as standard. You can option them down to smaller wheels if you want to go off-roading, but the 20 inches are what they come with. The D300 Discovery only comes as a single range transfer case. It doesn't have low range as standard. To get that dual range transfer case, you need the Advanced Off-Road Capability Pack, which adds the twin-speed transfer cage, all-terrain progress control and terrain response too. Together these are almost $4,000 worth of accessories, but combined they're just the things you want for off-road ability. The big changes to the interior of the Discovery 5 centre around the dashboard and the console here, where they've got a bigger screen in the centre here now with more of the controls getting away from buttons and moving into the menus, so you've got to scroll through various things to find them. Takes a little while to learn all those things, but once you know where they are and how to find them, it doesn't take too much trouble at all. The other thing they've done away with is the old dial for the 8-speed transmission shifter. It wasn't really user-friendly at all, and now they've gone to a more conventional gear shifter, which is easier to use. Also frees up a bit of space here in the console, I think. A bit more space for putting your keys and phone and so forth. Yeah, generally the Discovery 5 still has a great cockpit feel to it. In difference to the Defender, it feels wider and not as tall, so you're sitting down in the car, it's a more sporting driving position, which is indicative of the vehicle itself. All Discoveries in Australia are now sold as 7-seaters, and Land Rovers say it's a true 7-seater with enough space in the third row for the adults. And I have to agree with them, I'm 185 centimetres tall and I fit here quite well. All these seats are electronically adjustable, and it's quite an interesting exercise trying to get them all into the right position to get in and out. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I'm sure it'll get better with familiarity. I might need to get a bit more familiar with my chiropractor if I've got to keep doing that. The P360 is the most high performance tune available in the Discovery. It's the 3-litre inline Ingenium 6-cylinder petrol engine, which has both turbocharging and an electric driven supercharger to give you power right through the rev range. Its supercharging comes via an electric supercharger that gets its energy from the 48-volt mild hybrid system, which is a feature of both the petrol and diesel models. It works a treat, delivering diesel-like torque from lower in the rev range all the way through to a power surge in the top end. In all, there's 265 kilowatts of power on tap and 500 newton meters. Yes, this engine is available in a higher stated tune in the Range Rover and also in the Defender, but so far not in the Discovery. That may come at a later point. For now, we're just happy to have a petrol engine back available again in the Discovery, because this engine is sweet as. It really suits this car well. It definitely gets up and goes when you put your foot down, and it has a sweet note to it when you do. Discoveries have fully independent suspension, and combined with the 20-inch wheels and low-profile tyres, makes them quite a dynamic vehicle as well. They handle really well on a sealed road. The 8-speed automatic transmission is perfectly mated to the engine. It shifts smoothly and precisely, kicks down easily when you want it to, and lets you make the most of what is an excellent chassis package. The sporting characteristics of this P360 engine really bring the Discovery to life. Makes it a real driver's car, something you really want to get out on the open road. The P360 is a welcome addition to the Discovery 5 range and it really suits this car, but we're also keen to see on how it runs with a diesel engine, which is what you traditionally expect in a Land Rover Discovery. We're going to jump into the D300 now and see how it goes. We've jumped from the Land Rover Discovery S P360 petrol engine into the diesel equivalent, the D300. This is Land Rover's relatively new inline 6-cylinder Ingenium engine, and with twin turbos allowing it to make 220 kilowatts and 650 newton meters of torque, it's not messing around in terms of figures. All Discovery 5s come with grained leather seating as standard, although this D300 has the optional suede look covering on the seats, which is a no-cost option. This car has the fixed panorama roofs. That's a big glass roof front and rear. That is now standard on all Discoveries, just the P360 we had was a slightly older one. The big revelation when you're driving between these two cars is that there's not a lot of difference in them now. The refinement of the cars is such that you don't hear this being a diesel engine anymore. And it's quiet, refined, smooth, and got plenty of torque when you want it. But at the other end of the argument, the petrol engine has also got plenty of torque, being a turbocharged petrol engine. It's really narrowed the gap between diesel and petrol engines. The big difference comes when you're looking at the fuel economy figures on these two engines. The diesel is rated to 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres, and the petrol is 9.5 litres per 100. Which may not seem like a lot, but when you're doing long distances, it does start to add up. Particularly with towing with these cars, the diesel does tend to be more economical. With both these vehicles rated to say 3,500 kilos, they are well suited to long distance travelling with your big boat, caravan, horse float, whatever floats your boat. The D300's power delivery peters off sooner than that of the petrol engine, as you expect of a diesel motor. But you feel all of its 650 newton meters of grunt, lower in the rev range. And that's where you really want this extra torque. 650 newton meters, you put your foot down, it really gives you a push back in the seat, gets up and boogies, and also great for lugging a load around. Doesn't sound like a diesel engine at all, similar to the petrol inline 6, it's got that 6-cylinder roar to it. The differences between the diesel and petrol engines are becoming narrower, with similar characteristics across the board. Petrol or diesel engines? It's the age-old question when choosing a new four-wheel drive vehicle. And the lines between the two are becoming closer. Diesel engines are more refined, quieter, smoother, better driving vehicles than they ever were. On the other end, petrol engines are torquier. They've got turbochargers now to give them that bottom-end surge, just like a diesel engine. They're also more efficient, so when you're out on the highway, there's not as much difference in the amount of fuel they use. Yes, around town and when you're towing, a petrol engine does start to chew a bit more. So in that regard, you're really going to want the diesel, the D300 here. It's perfect for towing, got all that bottom end torque from the diesel engine. But if you're someone who likes to drive a bit quicker, likes a bit of sporting character, the P360 petrol is the one for you.